I sat down in the morning light, trying to write my assignment due the next day. The previous night, me and my fellow flatmates went to some event in Camden where some obscure celebrities were going to be just chillin', which we're pretty sure was held in a school disco, which could only be enjoyed to its full potential if you could remember it the next morning. I remained merry and stumbled home around 1, as I had a workshop in the morning, leaving the others to carry on dancing. I was just started getting some heat going for my assignment when there was a continuous knock on the door. For a moment I thought of ignoring it, but the knocking never missed a beat, so I felt it necessary to answer it, as I think everyone else was out and it seemed urgent. I went out of my room and answered the door, and who should be standing there but my flatmate, Joe. Joe was a memorable sort, known for achieving ridiculous moments of glory in his inebriated state. Such joyful examples include nabbing the Christmas tree off the street and leaving it in someone's flat, spraying pines all over the floors of many rooms in the process, having very drunk sex in a shower on his birthday, and snapping a picture of me passed out in my birthday suit. Though this one, at time of writing, truly takes the cake. Joe stood there, stripped down to his boxers, carrying his crumpled clothes, 2 very cold pieces of toast, and a traffic cone. As he waddled in, the first thing I said was, "Toast, cone, boxers, explain." His response, "I cannot for the life of me remember what happened after a certain point." Thinking this would turn out like some rather high-concept comedy and there'd be a tiger in the bathroom, I asked him to try and remember. "Well, I woke up in the hallway in my boxers spooning the traffic cone," he said. My response, "Okay." He said, "I'm guessing as I can't sleep in clothes, I took them off to get comfy. I recall going to the top floor at some point to check out the view, and then I lose memory from there." "And the toast?" "The toast? I think someone offered it to me this morning. As I recall, I slept outside flat 10. Someone came out, offered me toast. I was like, yeah, sure." They went back inside a few minutes later, gave me some toast, and then closed the door. Didn't offer to let me in though. Fucking dick. "So," I asked, "how did you end up sleeping in the hallway?" "I didn't have my key, and when I knocked, no one answered." "Well, you probably knocked at 4 in the fucking morning, we ain't gonna hear you," I said. "I knocked for 20 minutes, he replied. 20 minutes. The only thing I could think of saying was, "Next time, knock for 30. Okay, so that dialogue may have been slightly made up, but due to the ridiculous nature of events, I can't really remember what was exactly said. There's a running theme here. So on top of the cone, the toast, and lack of clones, Joe revealed something else he managed to pick up last night. No, not an STD. That'd be almost expected. No, instead, he found a scrunched up receipt of what we believed to be cocaine. Or as Arnold Schwarzenegger would put it, cocainum. So, my immediate response was, how? I just wanted to know, how? Joe doesn't do drugs, at all. Considering what he's like with alcohol, that's probably a good thing. There are only 5 things Joe really remembers of in relation to being at the school disco. These being consuming at least 3 Jaeger bombs, 20 vodka shots, and 3 Jack and Cokes at the pre-drinking session, getting punched in the throat by some thug, possibly a bouncer, following a girl into a toilet cubicle, being accused of stealing said girl's phone, and then attempting to smash a Mercedes-Benz with the traffic cone. So at what point did he manage to be in possession of cocaine? Well, according to a slightly more sober flatmate, we found out he spent 40 quid on it, meaning he must have spent at least 89 quid on alcohol. Yeah, after you do the math, your facepalm as well. After spending some time thinking whether or not we should flush it, try it, or sell it, we then learned from more experienced flatmates that at most, only 3% of it was cocaine, if any at all. The rest, I guess, chalk. How could we guess? Because normally, cocaine doesn't clump up to the point where you can use it to write on a blackboard-like surface. So all in all, it seems there were no serious repercussions. Aside from Joe being banned from the school disco, but we were never going to go back anyhow. However, so many questions kept circulating my mind after the events were laid out in the open. Mainly, how did Joe actually manage to spend so much money in one evening at a student night? At what point did Joe actually get the false cocaine? What did actually happen in the toilet cubicle? Why exactly was he banned from the club? And when did Joe snatch the traffic cone? But in the end, I realized my answer to all these questions. I'd rather not know. In conclusion, the best way to sum up the events of that night is with a message that Joe sent to my Facebook account from his phone at around 0:30 while I was dancing with him. The message, and I quote, "You felt so funny." I couldn't say it any better myself. The end.